I didn't sleep the next night. How could I? I duct taped the phone shut, put it inside a locked metal toolbox, and shoved it in the closet under a pile of laundry. Then I taped a mirror over the closet door. Why a mirror? Because whatever that thing was, it didn't show up right in reflections. Not fully, but it almost did. The air in my apartment had changed. Heavier, like breathing through wet cotton. The corners of the room always felt darker now. Unnaturally dark. Like the shadows had gained weight. Like they were listening. I started leaving all the lights on. Lamp in the bathroom. Night light in the kitchen. Even my laptop screen glowed with a blank white notepad file. Just so there was never total blackness. I couldn't trust it, because the thing seemed to love the dark. I went to work like normal, but I wasn't normal. Coworkers asked if I was sick. Pale, tired, paranoid. Jen hadn't returned any of my texts since the coffee shop. I checked her socials. No updates. I called her. Her phone rang once and went straight to voicemail. But the worst part? That night I got a new photo. Not on my phone. On my work email. Subject line. Sleep well. Attached file. img_0041.jpg. The photo was taken from my bedroom doorway, and Jen was in it, standing at the foot of my bed, smiling. But her eyes were too wide, her neck too long, like someone had stretched her into the idea of a human. I slammed my laptop shut. The lights flickered. My hallway light popped, burned out, and then I heard it. Not footsteps, but the sound of a finger dragging slowly along the wall. Scratch, 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 getting closer to the bedroom. I did something stupid. I opened the closet, tore into the toolbox, ripped the duct tape off my phone, and powered it on. 10% battery. Gallery, 12 new photos. The first 3 were from last night. Me, curled up, clutching my blanket. The next 3, not me, Jen, sleeping on a different bed, one I didn't recognize, in a room I'd never seen before. She looked terrified, even in sleep, her hands curled into fists. But the background, it was identical to my apartment, only dirtier. Mold climbing the walls, broken light bulbs hanging from twisted cords, and something in the corner, always in the corner, watching. I kept swiping. The last photo stopped me cold. It was a mirror selfie, taken in my bathroom, but the person holding the phone wasn't me, not even close. Same hoodie, same haircut, same face, but the expression was wrong. The smile stretched too far, the eyes completely black, and in the reflection behind them, someone sat on the edge of the bathtub, head hanging, arms limp, covered in bruises. It was me. I dropped the phone again. It didn't matter. The lights died completely. Darkness swallowed the apartment whole. And in that silence, my phone buzzed. A message. A known number. You're not asleep yet. Another photo came through. This time, a video. I hesitated. Then hit play. It was footage of my bedroom. The camera shook like it was being held by something crawling. I saw myself lying in bed, asleep, eyes fluttering. But then the camera moved closer. It circled the bed once, then again, and then the frame tilted as the camera was set down on my nightstand, facing my sleeping face. The screen faded to black. Then, in a deep, glitched voice, I heard, "You dream." We opened the door. I smashed the phone. But before the screen cracked completely, I saw one last image flicker. A red room, walls made of mirrors, and inside, hundreds of people sleeping on the floor. Some missing limbs, some with faces like mine, or Jen's, all watched by a figure in the center. Its hands were phones, dozens of them, all pointed at the sleepers, recording, studying, waiting. That night, I set up an old camcorder on a tripod. No Wi-Fi, no smart tech, just batteries and tape. If this thing was using electronics, I needed something older, something dumb. I pointed it at my bed and hit record. Then I took 3 melatonin pills and hoped for the best. I woke up to daylight. The camcorder was off. Tape inside. Full. I hesitated, then hit play. Most of it was uneventful, me tossing and turning. But then, at 2:59 a.m., the closet door creaked open, and out stepped Jen, or what was left of her. She moved slowly, like her bones weren't in the right place anymore. Her arms hung too long. Her mouth gaped unnaturally. She walked up to the bed, stared at me, then leaned forward, and whispered something into my ear. I turned, still asleep, and whispered back, "I'm almost ready." The morning after watching that camcorder footage, I didn't leave the apartment. I didn't shower. I didn't eat. I just sat on the couch, holding the camcorder like it was some ancient relic that could explain the impossible. I rewound the tape, watched it again. Jen, or that thing wearing her shape, stepping out of my closet, whispering in my ear. Then me, whispering back, "I'm almost ready." What the hell did that mean? I didn't remember dreaming. But when I looked at my arm, there was a faint red imprint across my forearm. A shape. It looked like teeth, like something had bit me gently while I slept. Around noon, I got a knock at the door. 3 knocks. Then silence. I froze. My peephole had been blacked out, covered from the outside. Then I heard the voice. Soft. Familiar. "Hey, it's Jen. Can I come in?" Her voice. But something about it was off. Too perfect, like it was trying to sound human, but missed something subtle. I didn't answer. Another pause. Then her voice again, calmer this time. "You're not safe there. They're watching from the dark corners. They only move when you ignore them." I backed away from the door, slowly. Another knock. This time, the rhythm was strange, like someone tapping Morse code. Then, "If you want to escape, the mirror is your only way out." I bolted to the bathroom. I pulled down the towel that was covering the mirror. For the first few seconds, everything looked normal. Just my pale, terrified reflection. Then it blinked. I didn't, but it did. I stumbled back. The reflection leaned forward, and then it stepped out of the mirror. Not fully, just its arm. It reached toward me, palm open. In its hand, my phone, but it was melted, warped, as if it had been exposed to extreme heat. Across the screen was one message. "Room 6. Find it." Then the arm retracted. The mirror went black, and my bathroom door slammed shut behind me. The lights went out. I turned toward the mirror again. And now, it wasn't showing the bathroom anymore. It was showing a hallway, one I'd never seen. Old wallpaper, rotting, lights flickering. And at the end of the hall, a door. Room 6. A brass plaque nailed crookedly to the door. From the mirror's surface, I heard breathing. Not mine. Low, slow, wet. Then came the voice again, whispered directly into my ear. "Come back home. We saved you a bed." The mirror rippled like water. I reached out. My fingers passed through. I hesitated, then stepped inside. Immediately, the air changed. It was thick with rot and something else, like burning plastic and old flowers. The hallway felt endless, but I walked toward the door marked 6. As I moved, the wallpaper seemed to watch me, patterns shifting slightly when I wasn't looking. I reached the door. It opened by itself. Inside, the room was identical to my bedroom, down to the furniture, the crooked poster, the slight dent in the mattress where I usually slept, except this version was decayed, like no one had cleaned it in decades. And in the bed, something was sleeping, under the blanket, breathing, slow, deep. I took a step closer. The air around me seemed to ripple. The thing in the bed stirred. Its head turned, and I saw my face, but older, hollowed out, eyes open, staring at me. No expression. Then it opened its mouth. A scream started, but no sound came out. Just silence. And then the mirror behind me shattered. I bolted out of the room, down the hallway, except the hallway wasn't the same anymore. It kept turning, folding in on itself. Room 6 appeared again. Then again, like I was trapped in a loop. The only sound now was static, like a broken TV signal buzzing in my skull. Then, finally, I saw another mirror, standing alone in the middle of the hallway, like a doorway. I ran toward it. Just before I jumped through, I looked down at my arm. The bite mark was bleeding. From under the skin, I could see something moving, crawling. I screamed and jumped through the mirror, landed hard in my own bathroom. The lights were back. The camcorder sat where I left it, but everything felt off, like gravity was slightly wrong, like the walls were too far apart. I checked the clock. It hadn't moved. The time was still 3:07 a.m. I'd been gone for hours, but no time had passed. Or worse, I never left. I didn't sleep after returning from a mirror hallway. Honestly, I didn't even sit down. I just stood in my living room, camcorder in one hand, phone in the other, breathing like I'd sprinted a marathon. Then my phone buzzed. One new photo. I didn't open it. Not yet. Instead, I turned off all the lights, lit the few candles I had, and sat in the center of the floor like it was some kind of ritual. The walls felt like they were closing in again. The air was too still. I finally unlocked the phone and opened the image. It was another photo of me, sleeping, but this time I wasn't in my bed. I was lying in a place I'd never seen before. White tile floors, fluorescent lights, bare concrete walls. A large glass window in the background showed something shifting in the dark. Watching. The timestamp? Tomorrow, 3:07 a.m. At exactly midnight, the power in my apartment cut out. Everything went silent. Not even the hum of the refrigerator or the ticking of the wall clock. Just silence until I heard a click. The sound of my bedroom door unlocking by itself. Problem was, it had no lock. I grabbed the camcorder, turned it on. Its screen flickered and showed a message, white text on black background. Welcome to the gallery. Then the screen changed. I was now looking through the camcorder's lens, but the room it showed wasn't mine anymore. It showed a long corridor, dim, silent. Framed photos lined the walls on both sides, each one black and white, each one labeled. Names, dates, some from decades ago, some from yesterday. I recognized one. It was Jen. In the photo, she stood in a hallway, her eyes blacked out, mouth wide in a silent scream. The caption read, Subject number 209, refuse return. Then I saw me. The next frame. I hadn't taken that photo, but it was me, sleeping in my bed, mouth slightly open, bruise on my wrist from a mirror door. Caption, Subject number 210, preparing for transfer. The hallway ended in a massive metal door. Etched into it were 4 words, do not wake them. But the camcorder showed something else. The words knocked 3 times. I didn't want to, but my hand moved on its own. Knock, knock, knock. The door creaked open. I stepped through. The room beyond was cavernous, impossibly huge, lined with rows of beds. Hundreds of them. Each bed held a sleeping figure. Every person I'd seen in the photos. Some were decades old. Some were still children. And in the farthest bed, half shrouded in a plastic curtain, I saw myself. Again, mouth sewn shut, fingers curled like claws. Above my bed was a hanging tag, do not disturb, ready for integration. A voice echoed through the chamber, one I didn't recognize. Calm, hollow, you have seen too much. Suddenly, the camcorder shattered in my hands. I fell to my knees, and something unseen pressed against my back, holding me there. Then came the sound, a slow click, 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 like 100 shutters going off all at once. They were taking pictures. Every sleeping person, every empty bed. Then mine. I felt the heat of a camera flash across my face, and I woke up in my bed. The camcorder was gone, but my phone was in my hand again. And on the screen, 5 new photos, all of them taken from above me, each one closer than the last. The final one was an inch from my face, and reflected in my eye was someone else standing over me. I threw the phone across the room, and that's when I saw it, scrawled on my ceiling in something dark and flaking. You are already inside. I didn't scream. I couldn't. It felt like the air had been sucked from my lungs as I stared at the message on the ceiling. You are already inside. I lay there, frozen in bed, every muscle screaming to move, but something deeper than fear held me still. Then the room flickered. Not the lights, the reality itself. My walls rippled like a disturbed pond. My bed warped beneath me. The world wasn't solid anymore. It was like watching a badly rendered video game environment. Only I was inside it. The floor beneath me opened with a groaning creak, like a cellar door, and without a moment's warning, I fell straight down into pitch-black nothingness. But I landed standing, in a long, dim corridor, one I recognized instantly. It was a hallway from the camcorder footage, the gallery. Only now, I wasn't holding camera. I was the camera. The hallway pulsed with every heartbeat. My heartbeat. The photos on the wall stared down at me, their eyes now filled in black, hollow voids. The faces in the frames moved, twitched, smiled, and whispered. I couldn't make out what they were saying until I passed a particular photo and heard it clearly. Let us out. Take our place. I looked, and it was a photo of me, not a sleeping version, not from above. It was me standing right there in that same hallway. Only the version in the photo was smiling wide. The tag beneath the frame now read, Subject number 210 accepted the frame. I turned to run, but the hallway shifted again, turned into a maze of looping doors, each one slightly off, some tall, some tiny, some melting into walls like wax. One door stood out, bright red, clean handle, a sticky note on it, exit. I opened it and walked into my apartment, exactly as I left it. Same angle of sunlight through the curtains, same ticking clock, same phone on the floor. But there was something wrong. The mirror, the one in the hallway, it was facing the wrong direction. Instead of showing the living room, it reflected me, but not how I looked right then. The reflection grinned while I stood motionless. Then it stepped forward, right up to the inside of the glass, and held up a phone. On its screen was a live photo of me back in the gallery. It took a picture. Flash. My phone buzzed. One new photo. I looked down. It was a photo of me looking at the phone. I looked back up, and the reflection was gone. Then behind me, footsteps. I turned slowly. Nothing. Then the reflection whispered from behind the glass. You came looking for answers. Now you're the story. The mirror cracked. From the inside, shards spiderwebbed outward, and I saw hundreds of faces inside the mirror behind my own. Sleeping. Smiling. Trapped. I tried to smash it. Nothing. I ran to the door. It wouldn't open. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. Just my reflection, standing in the mirror, now alone. Then the final message appeared on my phone. Plain white text. No sender. The frame is full. Welcome home. And the phone took one last photo. This time, I wasn't in it.